It started with a silence that was louder than any scream, a stillness that settled into her chest and wouldn't leave, the kind of ache that doesn't show up all at once but builds slowly until your soul feels like it's unraveling. The last 11 months had been the most heart-wrenching season of her life, marked by depression, anxiety, and the kind of pain that breaks you wide open. It was growth, but not the kind that comes gently. It was the kind that burns everything to the ground before something new can rise from the ashes. Desperate for clarity, she turned to God. She read His words over and over, hoping to find answers in the chaos. And while the storm raged on, eventually she began to find peace. Not at the end of it, but in the very eye of it. Yet even that peace was shaken by a relentless push and pull. Pain upon pain, shame, confusion. It all came crashing down, threatening to tear her from her center. For a year she carried the weight of blame. She asked herself over and over, was I not enough? Did I not love deeply enough? Did I not give everything that I had or I can? Will I ever be chosen? Will I bear children? Why do I keep finding myself in this place? She screamed those questions into the heavens, and yet somewhere deep inside she knew God was still listening, just not in the way she expected. Slowly, the healing began. She cried until there were no more tears. She became numb to emotions, even the ones that used to move her. At one point, she couldn't face the world. She didn't want to be here. And on her third attempt to leave, God intervened. God showed her that those thoughts weren't hers. They were not from Him. And that realization shook her. She saw how close she had come to becoming the lies of the enemy. But God pulled her from the pit. Truthfully, it didn't end there. There were some more dark days, and she prayed through them, and she knew the battle would linger until she could find herself again, feel safe within herself like she did 13 years ago. She had poured herself into a person she loved, trying to build a home with someone who didn't want to build with her. She realized that love alone wasn't enough, not when only one was doing the work. She gave him the most expensive thing she could give, her time. Time that could never be reclaimed. She spent years of her life thinking she was building towards a future, a family, a legacy, but it was all spent waiting for him to fail her. The very time she could have been living her dream, he withheld from her. He gave her false hope, made her believe in something that wasn't ever coming. Free will, that's the gift God gave us. And him, this man, she believed she had known for nearly 14 years, and with whom she had shared 11 of them, he chose a different path, one that hurt her in ways he may never fully grasp. She was shattered to be the stepping stone on his way back to the light. She helped build a man who turned out to be for someone else. But was he really ever that man? Or did she just want him to be? Ego, she saw now, distorts love. It turns intimacy into rivalry. It creates false narratives. And while he chose comfort in other people, she sat with the truth. The voices that he listened weren't from God. The lies, the blame, the betrayals, they weren't hers to carry, but she carried them anyway, until she couldn't anymore. And now, as part 1 closes, so does a chapter. I had built up a man to be for someone else, but now I wonder, did he ever become a man at all, or was he just never meant to be mine?